What's going on, guys? Seth and Chevy here. We just watched episode 2 of season 1 of Lazarus. We'll be talking full spoilers ahead, so hopefully you've watched this episode, and we'll do a real quick recap. Very straightforward episode. Basically, we get some details on what Lazarus is, and that it's basically an organization comprised of a bunch of people with, I guess they're all criminals. They all have a past, and they all are wearing bracelets, including the main character, Axel. And if they don't follow the rules, it can shock them, or it can heat up so much that it will melt their hand off, which isn't quite, Justice League, or not Justice League, Suicide Squad, or Battle Royale, where people's necks are blowing up or something like that. But it sounds unpleasant, in my opinion, and probably would change the rest of your life. So they're trying to basically track down this Skinner guy. We get some backstory on him. He was basically a good dude, and we don't really know
flawless.
Why he is doing what he's doing. But he was a Boy Scout, and he was trying to make the world better, and then he disappeared. And then this happened with Hopna. And then we also find out everybody in the room, or everybody who's part of Lazarus, is taking Hopna. We assume that because it seems like the whole world is taken. It's basically Tylenol. But we get that confirmation. So they get... basically, they think they know where Skinner's at, right?
The female hacker girl gets a lead, basically.
Yeah. I was going to say tip off, but lead's a better word. And they are going to go after him. So you got two different teams going to different locations of this bunker place. And on the way there, we find out a little bit of backstory on some of the characters, basically their pasts. I don't remember any of the characters' names except for Axel, but the girl that he's riding with is alarmed, maybe, because he has 888 years in prison. She assumes he's like a mass murderer or something, but he just says that he escapes prison. Every time they do that, they double his sentence. So he started with 3 years, and now he's at 888. So he's left prison a lot of times, and he says it's his hobby. So they go to a bunker. The other team goes to was like an office place.
Yeah, it's like a house that serves as an office for the bunkers.
And basically, both teams run into different people. Axel and the girl run into what seems to be possibly Skinner. He's sitting in a chair, but then they end up running into, I think, a cartel and like the Russian mafia or something. A huge shootout happens. Axel seems really excited by it. He's running around just kicking people and flinging them around and just really getting into the action. And then the DEA and the FBI also show up to this location where everybody thinks Skinner's at. And then the other group, I don't remember the names yet because it's only episode 2, run into two dudes who are looking for Kobayashi. Is that his name? For what was the reason again?
They loaned him money to build that place.
Yeah, okay. And so there's this big mix-up. They take the kid hostage, trying to find this Kobayashi guy. They end up getting that all squared and understanding that they're not part of that. And then, they didn't find Skinner. The guy they found in the bunker was the guy who...
Kobayashi.
Yeah, so not Skinner. And they also thought they tracked down Skinner, but there's like 1,000 of him.
Yeah, so the hackers facial recognition dinged that it got him, but then his face was just on a ton of people.
Yeah. So basically in the episode, they find that tracking down Skinner is going to be a lot more difficult than they assumed. Anything else worth mentioning in the episode?
I think that's all the major beats.
Yeah. They went to go find him, and they didn't find him.
Yeah.
So what do we think?
It was an alright episode. Like I was entertained enough through it, for sure.
It was okay.
Yeah, the biggest complaint I have, and we already kind of talked about it a little bit before filming, but and I don't know if it's the VAs or the director, but the lines come off very like monotone and flat.
And it's weird too because we're watching this via Max. I think it comes out like a day after it comes out on Adult Swim, which I'm surprised is still around. And so we're forced to watch in English, which we typically wouldn't do. We normally watch in the original language.
Which this probably is at this point. So.
Yeah. Well, I believe Adult Swim paid for this. Yeah. So It's theirs, but yeah, we're watching English, and we were talking about that, and like the voice acting, not from the original language, but like, if it's been dubbed over here, has come a long way since like we were younger.
There's some really good people out there.
Yeah, like sometimes I'll watch something in English. I'm like I thought Vinland Saga was pretty decent in English. I don't remember why we started watching it in that. We ended up switching over to Japanese later, but maybe it was where we're watching at had it only in English. I don't know, but there's pretty decent English voice acting out there for anime, and you'd expect that. There's great voice acting for video games and stuff like that. But this show is like reminding me of like late 90s, early 2000s VA work. Like everybody just talks really flat. There's almost no emotion. And it's just like, I thought we got past that.
Right. Yeah, I think outside of that though, the story is still pretty interesting. The episode was obviously just like a lead, and a bunch of weird scenarios that came from that. We also kind of got like a taste of like how the world's working at this point. There was like a talk show happening and some pop star who was had an album coming out, but like no one cares because the world's ending type of thing, and he kind of makes a point to rub salt in that wound for her, and so she like retorts about no one's gonna watch his crappy show anymore, and everyone just kind of doesn't care anymore is the way it's starting to seem, which I mean would probably be how it went down if everyone had 30 days to live. So
yeah, it's an interesting like thought experiment to kind of play around with the idea that like if the whole world's kind of on the same page of like, oh, we're all just gonna die, like, but you have enough time to like not have to panic right now. How would that affect society?
Yeah, for sure. And then we kind of see that also with like all these people trying to show up to get Skinner as well, because presumably they did a bad job of explaining why all those parties showed up. Yeah. But the way I understood it is the two foreign groups, the Russians and the Mexicans, showed up, and it came off like they were after Skinner. I have zero idea why the DA or FBI were there, and the way they were like racing to get there, like almost like running each other over, was interesting. So I don't get that at all. But then the debt collectors coming for him, which honestly I thought was more interesting than the presumed gang members or whoever there. But mostly we got to just kind of get an idea of like the type of people, or in Lazarus, we obviously we got the jailbreak guy, we got a petty larcenist. I don't think she said what she did. And then the more like calm and collected dude, I don't think he said really. I think he was kind of vague about it. But he had mentioned that the hacker was probably the most serious trouble out of the group when it came to like what they got in trouble for. So kind of interesting to get that information. So hopefully delve a little deeper into that as we go on the show. Yeah. And hopefully episodes going forward. And I assume it's going to be, because it's the same mind, similar to Cowboy Bebop, where like it's going to be like all these little individual stories that kind of like they revolve around a story point, right?
Yeah, and episodes possibly focused on individual characters and their past, maybe, or whatever. I mean, I almost hope they don't do that, because it would feel a little too formulaic, like compared to Cowboy Bebop. But if they do, I think that would be a solid way to make a show, because it worked with Cowboy Bebop. But it'll be interesting to see, especially if the show ends up being just like every episode is just like different investigations to find Skinner, which
might be.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I enjoyed it. Like I said, it was an okay episode though. I like kind of expect it to be a little slow in the beginning anyway. So
yeah, I think the first episode was much better than this episode, which is kind of weird, because a lot of times first episodes in shows, the end of the episode will be the hook, and that'll be like, okay, I got to watch the next episode now. But I thought the first episode was pretty solid, and then the second episode, this one we just watched, was kind of like, I think I mostly enjoyed, like you were saying, kind of like what's happening in the world due to the situation. Kind of the lore and the social, I guess, commentary on how society acts. Other than that, though, the episode was like fine. I am kind of struggling in the department of like, and it's only been 2 episodes, but we have a lot of characters and I don't really like any of them. I don't dislike them either. I'm not like these characters suck.
Right.
They just haven't made like an effort to
No
make
attachment.
them likable yet. We don't know them enough, and we don't need to dive into that just yet. But like even like the main guy, Axel, like I like the way he's animated when he's doing parkour and fighting people. Looks really cool, but and that he's like an adrenaline junkie and he wants to get in the action. But I really hope that we by next episode start delving into the characters a little bit, so I can actually start enjoying them and their personalities. Because so far, as we've already said, the voice acting's pretty flat and the characters haven't been explored yet. So like I don't care about any of them. And I don't expect to like be super invested in them yet, but like they're not even like charming or funny or anything. They're just kind of like hanging out.
Yeah.
So hopefully next episode we get into that a little bit. And then the scenarios that happened in the episode were fine. I thought the whole DEA, FBI, cartel thing was like a clusterfuck that I was just like, what is going on?
Right.
Why is this like? And then the Axel guys just run around, jumping on the roof or ceiling and kicking people and shit, which was cool to watch. But I was kind of like, I don't know if this really matters or not. So, but it's all heading towards something. So whatever. But yeah, the episode's fine. I am hoping episode 3 will be better, but at least I like the art style and I like the animation. So also we saw the intro to this episode. Okay. I like it visually. The music's also fine. It doesn't really have like a catchy song, but that's fine. It is stylistically neat. And very, reminds me of Cowboy Bebop and other things that he's done in the past. So, definitely feels in theme with the director. Overall, the episode was fine. It was fine. I wasn't super into it, but I also didn't dislike it. So just hoping for more with episode 3. You got anything else?
No, I think that's about it.
All right, let us know in the comments, what do you guys think about episode 2 of Lazarus? What were some of your favorite parts? Maybe you have some criticisms of this episode. Maybe you're kind of like in between. Maybe there's something that happened in this episode that you want to talk about that we didn't talk about. Let us know in the comments. Obviously, we talk spoilers, so talk away. And what do you think things are going in episode 3? You got any theories on what's going to happen? And are you liking any of the characters? Let me know everything you think about in the comments below when it comes to Lazarus episode 2. Stay tuned. We will have more reviews of this as it rolls out. We have started watching Shogun. We're 3 episodes into it. I think we're going to do a mid-season review and an overall season review. So probably on episode 5, we'll kind of do an episode of talking about what we think of the show so far. So we got 2 more episodes to watch. After the first episode, I was just like, I don't know if I have enough information to really review this outside of like, a first impression, but I feel like I was so out of the loop on so many things that I needed to watch more of it. So, but we are watching it, so stay tuned for that. And of course, if you have any recommendations on things you'd like us to watch, can't guarantee we will watch them, but we will definitely take it into consideration. Let us know, anime, movies, TV, whatever. But I've been Seth, this has been Chevy. Until the next review, we will talk to you guys later.